Hello, guys, and welcome back to our structural biology series at Excelsior Academy. So, in our previous example, guys, we studied about the hemoglobin, and we saw like how changing one amino acid, right, can alter the protein interactions and then contribute to a major disease like sickle cell anemia, right? And today we'll be taking another example, and it's very important protein. It's called insulin. So, I'm sure, pretty much sure that you all guys have heard about the insulin and what does it do. Right. So this time we'll look at structural biology in a different angle. Okay. Instead of asking like how a structural change can cause disease, we are going to ask like, can scientists modify a existing protein structure in order to create a better medicines? Right. So now you can relate like insulin we have in the market is actually a modified version, right? It is designed in order to help the people. So as you know, insulin type 1, type 2 diabetes are there. So different kinds of doses are required. Some people required insulin shots, some people required certain medicines like metformin, right? So you can just check out like at your home, like who is by chance anyone is having diabetes. So what kind of treatment they're taking. Either they are having a tablet like metformin just before the meal, or they are taking an insulin shot. Now, so the question is that whether the scientists can deliberately modify protein structure to create a better medicine. The answer is absolutely yes, and that is what we have seen, and it is there in the market also. Okay, so insulin is going to be the best example. So here we will study like how a protein structure, disulfide bonds, protein folding, the recombinant technology, the protein design, analogs, pharmacokinetics, and the diabetes treatment. So all these things will be studying one part in order to understand the role of structural biology over here. Okay, so look it over here. So I have given. So let's begin with very basic understanding like what is insulin. So what is insulin? One second. Yes. So what is insulin? It is actually a peptide hormone which is produced by the beta cells of the islets of Langerhans of the pancreas. So the person who has got, for example, pancreatic cancer is going to definitely going to have diabetes as well. Okay, so here we understand the role of the pancreas as well. So you can see in the pancreas, we have got these islets of Langerhans beta cells, and these are the ones which is actually producing the insulin. Now, the main physiological role of insulin is the regulation of blood glucose. Okay. What happens is like when you eat, the meal has been taken, it goes to your stomach, it starts getting the digestion, right? Now during the digestion, the molecules are broken down into small amino acids, carbohydrates, lipids, or whatever, and these glucose then enters the blood, and then it is passed to different tissues. Now how it is regulated is because of the insulin. So here you can see insulin is there, which is produced from the uh, beta cells of the islets of Langerhans, that is pancreas may, and then this insulin goes and binds to its receptor. Okay. Now, when insulin is bound over here, it actually triggers the synthesis and translocation of the glucose receptors. Okay. Now, the cell will actually take all these glucose receptors and will translocate over here on the plasma membrane. Now, this glucose transporter will actually start taking up your glucose inside, where it will be metabolized. Okay. Now, you might have studied in your grads and postgrads about the GLUT4. Okay, so this is the receptor which is involved. So that becomes an entire different story. That is also covered in one of the cell biology playlists which I have. So you can go there and study about the glucose receptors. Okay. So as I mentioned, so what happens when we eat anything carbohydrate containing foods and all, so glucose is released. This glucose goes into the blood, and the beta cells will produce by secreting the insulin, and then insulin will travel and it will go, trigger the uptake of the glucose. Okay. Now, how does insulin is going to lower the blood glucose level? So if you see over here, as I mentioned, okay, as I mentioned over here, the insulin will come to the, it will go and bind to its receptor. This will trigger the synthesis of the GLUT4 receptors, and then it will introduce the glucose uptake. Okay, so what is happening now? The glucose has been taken up by the cell. Now the glucose is inside the cell. So the level of glucose in the blood then reduces. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Okay, now the question comes. Let's now jump towards the structural biology question. So if we study about the diabetes and the blood glucose, how the insulin is going to perform its function only if it has got the correct molecular structure, right? So earlier in the case of hemoglobin, we saw that if there is a mutation, there's amino acid sequence change, it leads to disease. Here, we are maintaining the correct structure of the molecule, insulin, right? And this is what we are going to understand and purify in order to help the people who are suffering from the diabetes. Okay, so let's go one by one. Okay. So if you see insulin, it consists of two polypeptide chain. As you can see, A chain is there having 21 amino acids, and then we have got the B chain with the 30 amino acids. Okay, both A chain and B chain are connected via the disulfide bonds. If you see, so you have got the interchain disulfide bond and the intra. Intra means within the molecule, within the polypeptide chain. Okay. Now, the correct folding the disulfide bonds are essential for their biological activity. If anything makes this disulfide bond broken, then the insulin is not going to function. Okay, so the correct structure is very, very important. As you can see over here, because of the disulfide bond, the insulin has been properly folded, and this is how the structure looks like. Okay, whereas if it is not properly folded or something is wrong with the disulfide bond formation, or you have added DTT, which actually disrupts the disulfide bond and all, so the protein becomes inactive. It gets improperly folded, misfolded. Okay. Now, so we discussed, yes, yes. Okay. Now let's come to its clinical importance. So I'll just give you one story of Biocon, actually, the Biocon company, which is there at the Bangalore. So they started the main business with the production of insulin in large scale. Okay. So what happens is that how actually you start. So you are going to take the sequence of the insulin. So you get the gene sequence, you make a gene. Okay. So I am sure you must have studied like how to make the primers using the sequence. So you have got many NCBI tools are there, bioinformatic tools are there, which you can use. Like especially you can go to Blast, and there are so many things are there which you can use. If you want, I can take a separate session also, like how to create primers. Okay, by the from the given sequence. So once you have the insulin sequence, you can make the primers, and then you can start the cloning in the E. coli. So we take expression vectors and transform the E. coli, and we get the overproduction of the insulin. Now insulin is secreted out. Okay, the supernatant is taken and it is processed. During the downstream process, the insulin is purified, and then it is processed and packaged, and it is marketed, okay, to the people, to the doctors and all. It is present in the market. So this is like short story, like how insulin is being synthesized. Okay, so for example, many companies use E. coli, the others are using yeast. So depending on their requirement and the parameters they control, insulin is being synthesized. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see why the insulin analogs are present in the market. Okay, why do you want to modify the human insulin? So once the recombinant insulin is available, scientists could ask, very interesting question. Can you modify insulin's molecular structure to improve its therapeutic behavior? Okay, so we know that the naturally occurring human insulin works very well in the biology. However, you want to make the clinical situations fast. For example, the two analogs has been made over here, as you can see, rapid acting insulins and long acting insulins. Okay, so what does it mean? Rapid acting, these insulins will act very quickly around the meals. The moment you have taken, and the insulin will start making it. Okay. Then we have got the long acting insulins, So these are like something which will be, absorbed or slowly it will be there given, and it is giving a long lasting, like during around 12 to 16 hours, it will be having its effect. Okay. So this led to the development of the insulin analogs because you wanted to give the clinical therapeutic response fast. Okay. Now, what is happening why do I say it's an analog? So, insulin analog is actually a molecule whose structure has been deliberately modified while preserving its ability to activate the insulin receptor. So, as such, it does not look like an insulin structure, but it has got that active site intact so that it can go and bind to the insulin receptor. Okay, so the properties like self association, solubility, absorption, stability, duration of action, everything is like guided. It is like structure guided protein engineering. We call it as structure guided protein engineering. So the portion which goes in binds with the insulin receptor is intact. Okay. Okay. Now, for example, let's talk about the rapid acting insulins in detail. So if you see the structures over here, the lysine has been converted to pro. Okay. Pro and one second. Insulin lispro and insulin aspart you can see over here. So what do we see here? From lysine to pro and aspartic acid has been converted. Okay. The order has been reversed. Now, what happens over here is that it is going to reduce the tendency of insulin molecules to self-associate into higher order assemblies after injection. So what does it mean? The moment you inject into the patient, it is not going to self-associate. Okay. It will get the tendency to self-associate is reduced. So what is happening? The insulin will become more available for the absorption, rapidly available. Okay. So this gives the activity, or you can say that the rapid acting insulins are there. Okay. So the pharmacokinetic profile is what? That it is rapidly available and gets rapidly absorbed. Okay. Now let's talk about why these are useful. Okay, this is useful for controlling the increasing blood glucose associated with it. Sometimes what happens ना कुछ लोग sugar shock में चले जाते हैं, right? तो ऐसे में क्या होगा? The body shuts down, your brain shuts down. So you have to give certain insulin so that the blood glucose level comes to normal and the person is fine then. Okay. Similarly, in the case of long-acting insulin, if you see the structure here, glycine to arginine, it has been done. Okay, and we do also see that in the case of insulin deglucdec, certain fatty acid chains are also attached. Okay, now these modifications are going to affect the molecule's physicochemical behavior. After subcutaneous injection, this will form a depot from which insulin is released gradually. So what is happening? See, it has got the fatty acid residues attached to it. Okay. So when it is injected over here, it will be deposited over here. Now what happens like throughout the day, slowly from this deposit, it will be releasing gradually. Okay, so the result is a prolonged action profile of a suitable insulin coverage. So it's like throughout the day, slowly, it will be getting released. Okay, so that's how the long acting insulins are working. Now, if we compare the proteins, now you understand like all these things. So here there was no mutation happening. What we did is like deliberately we have engineered the insulin in order to have the therapeutic applications of the existing protein. Okay. So I hope you got the idea like how structure biology is playing important roles over here. Now from structure biology, we understand that if the structure is clearly understood by the scientists and we are able to modify it based on the requirement in the market or for the patients, like how it is required in order to improve the lifestyle and all, we can go towards the drug designing. Okay, so this is just one small example was there. Now, so till now, we have seen two examples. Sick hemoglobin, where one amino acid change is actually causing a disease. The second is about the insulin analogs, where scientists are intentionally introducing a structural modification to produce useful therapeutic properties of the natural occurring protein. Okay, so what we see is that any hemoglobin teaches us that structural change can contribute disease, whereas insulin teaches that the structural change can be deliberately engineered, okay, to improve the therapy. So this is we see how the structural biology is playing an important role. Okay. Now, so understanding the protein structure, it enables better therapeutic design. So these are the two examples I have taken, and let's meet in the next session where I'll be taking another example of the antibodies and how it is being, designed in order to make the drugs and all. So guys, thank you for today. Until then, take care. Bye bye.